Hello and welcome to the Southwation Room. I'm your host, Southie. I was hoping to get this video out a little bit closer to the draft, but I was under the weather at the start of this week, so thank you for your patience. Fortunately now, since it's July 1st, the start of free agency, happy free agency everybody, I can kind of combine a few topics that might not have been really a fleshed out video into one. So let's first rehash a few things that happened over the past week or so, and then look ahead to what might happen over the next month. Before the draft, the Bruins made two moves that I would like to discuss, not quite of the same level of significance, but the trade for J.J. Peterka, which cost us 2 first-round picks, Florida's and our own this year, and the trade for Ivan, which cost us Fabian Lysell. Now, despite the fact that they are not of the same magnitude, I have thoughts on each of these trades, and I would like to discuss them. But first, I would like to remember what I subtly and artfully said before the draft on the topic of trading. Don't buy, please don't buy. We probably shouldn't buy anyway, but not now, not short term. Don't give up picks, don't give up youth, don't give up anything, please God, don't buy. Well, nobody listens to me. When I first heard about the Peterka trade, I was fuming, to be honest, because of what I said and just because right on the heels of the Tkachuk trade, giving up 2 first-round picks for a middle six forward of moderate production, 24, 25 goal scorer, isn't this most appealing, especially for a team that's doing okay in the middle six, did okay in the middle six last season, like probably where we have the most of our forwards are the second and third line. We have a couple decent fourth liners. We have 1 first liner. And all the problems on the blue line. So I wasn't thrilled, especially a winger, since, our center depth isn't really great. For all those reasons, I had misgivings. And those misgivings nearly manifested themselves as outrage and yelling. But I wouldn't want to be unreasonable and yell a lot. That's not my brand. It's what everyone likes about my brand, but it's not really my brand. I've come around to a place of no, not optimism. You can't be optimistic. That's irrational at this point with this team. I've come to a point of acceptance with this trade. I can see the rationale around it. At first, I was upset because giving up those 2 first-round picks, first of all, I still don't think we're necessarily super competitive in the midterm, but Peterka is young. He's only 24. He's younger than me. Look how old I am. He's young. There's obvious offensive upside. The numbers were pretty good. He wasn't great in the postseason, but Utah's run was so short, hard to evaluate, especially with the lack of experience he has. Hopefully he'll get a few more years of playoff experience early on in this roster. I was annoyed because the loss of those 2 picks on a forward meant we couldn't spend them on a defenseman. I think defense is our number 1 priority. I think it pretty much has to be. We didn't extend Harris a qualifying offer, so he's an unrestricted free agent. We didn't reach an agreement with Peak, so he's an unrestricted free agent. Don't get me wrong. I hope we don't talk to Peak anymore. I think the conversations are ongoing. I really, really want them to stop. They're like the voices in my head. But the thing is, how much money is he getting? I don't know anybody who's willing to break the bank for Peak. I don't know anybody who's willing to break a piggy bank for Peak. Or unroll a roll of quarters. Do you guys know what those are? Do they have those still? No one uses coins. When I was little, you got them from the bank. Anyway, you did them for laundry. We're going to need to solve something on defense. We have Yoki Haru. I think he's serviceable third pair. He was scratched a lot. Lorai, he's been thrown around in trade talks. Now that we've gotten Peterka, I don't know exactly how that would go, especially with the 2 other defensemen that I've mentioned not on the roster currently. I thought that the picks should go to a defenseman, or would go if that was a move we were going to make. But they didn't. They went to a mid-6 winger, I think our position of least need. And I was mad about that, and that was really my sticking point. But then I thought about it more, and I saw people give the take. I didn't reach this conclusion on my own. I thought about it more. I say, taking credit back. The money that Arvidsson might have gotten might be tied up in Peterka in the future. And the role that Arvidsson would have played might be played by Peterka in the now. So with that money no longer coming back on the books in the form of a re-sign for Arvidsson, as it looks like he's rejected our offer I saw, so I imagine he will be testing free agency properly. Maybe we can pick up a defenseman in free agency and just kind of switch what we might have done rather than trading picks for the defenseman and getting a forward, either Arvidsson back or somebody else in free agency. We're instead getting the forward by trading and then relying on our ability to attract a defenseman. I've seen Darnell Nurse linked to Boston. That wouldn't be in free agency. That would be a trade. I can't imagine Edmonton could demand much in return. They'd have to retain on the if they don't retain on the contract, I don't even want to hear it. But there are defensemen out there who are willing to play for Boston. Werenski just vetoed a trade to the Stars. I see some people saying about him to Boston. I've also seen some people say if he's going to veto a trade to the Stars, why is he going to come to Boston? It would be nice. Team USA, Werenski, McAvoy. I don't know. That seems to be popular these days. The other pre-draft trade I want to talk about is Ivan in exchange for Fabian Lysell. Ivan, NHL 26 franchise mode legend. He's pretty decent on that. Fringe NHLer. It's fringe NHLer for fringe NHLer. It's a change of scenery trade. It's you take a guy who's underperformed what you would like him to have done, and you put him somewhere else. Fabian gets to go to Colorado, where a better team. If he gets time in the NHL, he'll have better teammates and line mates probably. Maybe he'll be able to develop a little bit more. We get Ivan. He's a different player than Fabian Lysell, and I love this trade. I love it. I've been a Fabian Lysell denier for a bit now. I've compared him a lot to Zach Senyshyn. Just, a guy like, we keep hearing about, but, when he's ready, when he comes up, and then that never comes. Tomorrow never came for him. Sometimes all the player needs is a different situation. And maybe this won't be the case. Maybe one of them will be good and one of them will suck, or they'll both suck, or they'll both be good. That's the optimal scenario. Now, I'm going to say the optimal scenario is they're both good, because I have nothing against Fabian Lysell. Sweeney, when he was discussing the trade in a press conference, said that, well, maybe we could have done a better job developing him. You really couldn't have done a worse job, I don't think. He played in 12 NHL games in 3 years, was it? 4? Felt like forever. I felt like I've been saying forever. Just wait till Fabian Lysell comes up. A lot of people reminded me that I had been saying that. I don't know why I said that. I needed something to say. Our fourth line's pretty solid. Our mid-six is definitely pretty solid. I don't necessarily know where Ivan is going to slot in. It's a two-way contract. He'll be spending some time in Providence to be sure, but it's something. It's something different we can try. Bring a new dynamic when he gets called up. Something that we're going to want more than 12 games of, maybe. And if we don't, oh well, because I think we knew what we had in Fabian. At least what we had for the purpose of the Boston Bruins, which is really that which primarily concerns us. Then, of course, there was the draft. I'll now read you a list of names and positions. Yuri Ivanov, goaltender. Niels Barthelton, right winger. Matvei Kotkov, right winger. Oscar Olsen, left winger. Jacob Vandeven, defenseman. Roberto Enriquez, goaltender. Colin McCrate, defenseman. We didn't even have a first round pick. I really don't, I've never found it profitable to speculate about guys, especially once you get honestly out of the first round, honestly out of the lottery picks. At that point, I feel like you're kind of just throwing a dart at a board. Sometimes you'll hit it. Well, you should probably hit the board. If you're playing darts and you're not routinely hitting the board, I might recommend practicing before you step up to the line again. But there are some questions. Why so forward heavy? Only 2 defensemen when defenseman's an issue. To be honest, I don't really think you're going to get a defenseman that's going to help in a quick enough term to really take the best player available. I think that is the best draft strategy. Despite saying that, the 2 goalies is a little bit more vexing. That is something Sweeney answered for at a press conference as well. I've seen some speculation among Bruins fans that he's trying to create kind of a goalie farm. Gone well so far. Vladar, Bussy, DiPietro, those are all goaltenders from Providence in the last 5 years. 2 of them were in the playoffs this year. One of them is now a Stanley Cup champion with a shutout in the deciding game on the road. Pretty great stuff there. Swayman, of course, we've had a great run of goaltending. Thomas to Rask to Swayman, and Olmark with a Vezina in between. So we didn't develop him, so maybe kind of separate point. I understand wanting to kind of keep a goaltending culture and thinking you can gain value on goalies. It's something we're good at doing and play to your strengths organizationally. It's just right now, when there are some more pressing needs. When goaltending looks pretty secure, it looks like you got your franchise guy on a long-term contract that's not team-friendly, but not team-unfriendly. I just don't think the optics are great on it. But draft the best player. It's too early to say. These guys came too deep into the draft, I think, to draw any overarching conclusions. Maybe there are some questions about who, where, what position, when, why, how, what? Have I gotten all of them? These results are determined in years, not days. So until I have years worth of material to make a judgment on, I'm going to kind of refrain from commenting. But if you have an opinion, feel free to share it with me. A lot of people know more about prospects in the draft and everything than I do. So if you know any of these guys, if you have any thoughts about, whom we left up, opportunity cost is a big thing in the draft, especially for this team, especially after 2015 with those 3 picks in a row. Whoa, if you don't know about that one, look up our 2015 draft. Legendary stuff. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on Instagram. DM me. I'm lonely. My DMs are dry. And I just hit 200 followers, looking to make it 300 pretty soon, so hop aboard if you haven't. July 1st is the start of free agency. I've already touched on a couple ways how that affects the Bruins, but July 1st is another day, too, that I want to talk about. It's Canada Day. It's the day that the 3 separate provinces were colonies unified into the one Commonwealth nation, Dominion. To be honest, I don't know very much about Canadian history, but I do know that it's an important day to Canada, meaning it's an important day to the sport of hockey and to my few subscribers who are from Canada. It must be some of you, right? Hockey. A lot of you might have come from the Leafs video. If so, happy Canada Day to you. But you deserve a better tribute than that. I know what you're thinking. Southie, what are you doing in your car? First of all, this isn't my car. I don't have a car. This is my girlfriend's car. Second of all, it's the middle of the night here, so my upcoming tribute to Canada wouldn't really be appreciated, I think, by my neighbors. Not that they have anything against Canada, I think they just have something against me singing. But I'm sure you don't. So without further ado... Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command. Car ton bras s'est porté la paix, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Happy birthday, Canada! Really, the 2 UFAs of note are the ones whom I mentioned earlier, Victor Arvidsson and Andrew Peeke. Andrew Peeke is of note only because I don't really want to be the hater just to be the hater. He is so catastrophically bad that the notion of signing him to a contract willingly, under no pressure to do so from any external forces, it would corrupt the minds of the youth. It might be criminal. It certainly would have been in ancient Athens. They killed Socrates over this. There's simply no way we can sign Peeke to a contract. And now he is officially an unrestricted free agent. He is not on the Boston Bruins. I've seen, really, even in just the last hours, it's beginning to shift. It looked like we were going to reach some sort of agreement with him. We were at least talking to him. Now it's looking like he's going to leave. Please, God, I don't even care. It's one of those things, like, even if you think something is bad, you want something to replace it, right? I don't care. I do not care who on earth replaces him. I don't care if it's me. That would actually be kind of cool. But I don't care if it's my enemy. There's not one person you could pick who I would think that's a substantial decrease in quality. I guess maybe somebody who can't skate. We already have Hampus Lindholm. We could kind of make a pair of it. The question is admittedly maybe complicated a little by the fact that we didn't qualify Jordan Harris. But those were the two of the three bottom defensemen. It was Peak, it was Yoki Haru, and it was Harris. And pretty consistently, since I started this channel, I'd say all season, but you can verify that I wasn't around all season. Since I started this channel, I've pretty consistently been higher on Yoki Haru than the other two. I remain higher on Yoki Haru than the other two. So, like, if this means more Yoki Haru time, I won't complain about that either. We'll need some sort of depth defenseman. Anyone, really anyone, just anyone who will sign for $900,000 for 1 year, 2-way, 1-way, whatever, however many ways it takes, 3-way. I don't know. I really can't even believe that re-signing Andrew Peeke was a serious consideration. What contract could we have offered him? What contract would have been worth it? Let me know that too. Let me know that. What contract would be worth it for Andrew Peeke? $800,000 for 1 year? Is that, first of all, is he eligible for that? Is there like a minimum, like a vet minimum kind of thing? Second of all, is he even worth that? Arvidsson is a more complicated issue, admittedly. I think there was a pretty clear consensus from Bruins fans that we wanted him back if the price was right. I don't think anybody was like, oh, you blank check him. But I think either we were willing to go a lower AAV. I was hearing like the Bruins faithful, God knows what the front office was thinking. The Bruins faithful were thinking maybe a couple years, maybe a third year there at like $5 million, or if he wants a little more towards 6, down to 2 years, down to 1. Whatever the offer we made him was, I haven't seen details on that yet. If they've dropped, let me know. Whatever the contract offer we made to him was, he has rejected it. He has opted to test the free agent market. There will be substantial interest, I think Peeke might find himself without a bride. I don't think Victor Arvidsson runs that risk at all. Good veteran piece, good, not quite second, good third liner, serviceable second through stretches, if you have an injury filling in. It's the kind of piece that a Stanley Cup team likes. He was productive last year. He was productive in big moments last year, especially towards the end of the season when the whole team was struggling. Zacha was solid and Arvidsson was solid. He became a favorite among Bruins fans. We liked him, liked what he brought, liked his personality, played with some energy. Played with energy in the postseason, which, should be a given, and yet did not feel like that was consistent in the locker room. It's a guy I will be sad to lose. Peterka's better. We gave up stuff for him, so he kind of got to be. Peterka has way more long-term upside, as he will be playing in the long term. Arvidsson probably, is this his last contract coming up? Depends. If he gets a 1 year, a gap deal, then no. But if he gets a 3-year deal, that might be it. Or very close to it. Peterka might have another decade in the league. That's not ridiculous. He would be 34, 35 at the end of it. Maybe a little bit more than that. I'm not saying he'll do all of that in the black and gold, but the upside's there, the scoring's there, the plus minus so isn't as there, but plus minus isn't a reliable indicator of defensive game. Though on a playoff team, it's a little bit more reliable. I'm fine giving up on Arvidsson since we have Peterka. Since we have, the picks are gone, they are spent. 2 late round first, I think everyone agrees. I don't think Florida is going to be picking in the lottery again. So the veteran presence, the clutch presence, the energetic presence, the effort-giving presence. That is what I am more concerned will be lacking, especially when you look at Peterka's performance in the postseason, which was invisible. But it's a new day for him. It's a new season, new team, new everything for him. I don't even want to look too much at the past, at his past performances, past numbers. It's a completely different situation. And now we've got a fair amount of youth on this team. We've got Minton, we've got Huzmantinov, we have Peterka, we have Letourneau down in Boston College, presumably coming up. I've seen some talk maybe at the end of this NCAA season will come up. Around then, you would think. Hagens, don't know exactly. I assume he's going to be in Boston, right? On the big club, kind of has to be. So, plenty of youth. If we can keep that together, more or less, and if we can get levels of production, other than, we don't know about Hagens yet, we can get levels of production similar to what we got last season, or similar to what Utah was getting last season out of Peterka, I think we could have a pretty good team here. It might be outside of the McAvoy-Pastrnak window, probably still within the Swayman window, but it's impossible to see the future. The most we can do right now is try. So, as we look ahead to free agency, I'll make another video in a few. Well, I'm traveling for the 4th, so maybe it'll be after that. Hopefully, nothing too big will happen while I'm gone. Might make another video about the kind of guys we might want to target if we're looking for a defenseman. Since we didn't spend the picks on one, we kind of have to spend the money on one in free agency. The kind of guy we might want to target, what our team might look like. But, it's already starting to become a little clearer the product that's going to be on the ice next year. And I think it's definitely a team that's going to compete for a playoff spot. I think it's a team that's going to have to compete for a playoff spot. I think Toronto is going to be better than they were last year. Pretty much a guarantee. And I think Florida is going to be better than they were next year. And I think the division might be theirs. So, goaltending is still a question there. So, we won't know until they're on the ice. In the end, all I'm really doing is talking. But that's why you're here. And to hear me sing. Until my next performance, go Bees.